There is no hope. There is no hope for any resolution in the Middle East regarding Israel, Hamas, Palestine, name it. There is no hope. And I'm not trying to be mean, and I don't want the usual folks who listen to me to misunderstand what I'm saying. But if ever there was the reality of this country, in particular, this news media, not understanding what's happening right now, are you listening? When I say you, not those wonderful people watching, but are you listening to what Netanyahu says? Did you happen to hear Erdogan's speech? Did anyone hear Erdogan's speech at all? It was absolutely the most important and critical piece for you to watch and to understand. There is it was so perfect, and it is not being watched. It is not being paid attention to by nobody on cable news because nobody understands it. They're still talking about it from a let's discuss the merits of war, not it's going to happen. Do you understand what this means? It's going. We're in the middle of this. They're still discussing, should Hamas apologize for it? Is Hamas a terrorist organization? When Al Sharpton is reading the Israeli line, remember Al Sharpton? Remember Freddie's Freddie's, this was a huge Al Sharpton interlopers. It was Freddie's. This was a big deal. There was this big Freddie's Fashion Mart attack. Freddie's Fashion Mart, and he talked about this was they were yelling anti-Semitic. It was just this man. When I'm hearing this, I'm thinking to myself, this is why people think. This is why people say and repeat the trope that there is some Jewish or Israeli lock on media or something to that effect. You've heard people say this. There's this trope, this meme that's been said since the beginning of time. And it's certainly not true in the international case. But when Al Sharpton is reading this, it's like, does he have any idea? Is this what this means? Where you're supposed to say, Israel's right, that's enough. Hamas is wrong. Move on. Next story. Mike Johnson. And let's talk about the Britney Spears. Do you think that's it? Listen to what I'm saying. Because I can't believe you're missing everything. You've got to hear Erdogan's speech. He said, Hamas is not a terrorist organization. They're fighters, or they're, I forget what the word is. They're like the Mujahideen. Listen, you're talking to these, not you. They're talking to each other in a vacuum. You don't have to keep. I understand you believe that Israel has a right to exist. I do too. I've got that. But we're headed for a war, and you're still. It's like somebody talking about critiquing Mein Kampf during World War II. It's like, do you know what's happening? Are you aware of what's happening? Are you focusing on what's happening? No, you don't. They don't get it. It's up to you. I want you to go up and shake these people. And I want you to remind these people. Tell them what we're up against. Remind them of the issues. Remind them of what we're saying. Commit yourself to the issues. This is about war. This is not about The same trope about whether Israel has a right to exist. I don't even know what we're beyond that. Do you think there's a two-state solution coming? You're out of your mind if you do. That's what they say in this, again, in this mindless recantation. There's so much that is happening. So much. Hamas, many people are saying, is not ISIS. See, this is, how do we explain this? We're dealing with a bunch of people who don't know any better. They use words like Al-Qaeda, ISIS. These are the same idiots who use the word Marxism all the time, and socialism. Everything is socialism. It's not socialism. What are you talking about? But that's what they do. They have such a limited view. They have a limited ken. They have a limited ideology, a limited worldview. They don't know. They think these words are interchangeable, and they're not. Hamas is more Muslim Brotherhood than ISIS. Muslim Brotherhood is Erdogan. He wants to be the caliph. Do you see where the positioning of this? He's saying, you know what? The hell with NATO. I don't care about that. I'm into this. And NATO, by the way, is thinking hamana, because all they want to do is they've got their eyes on Ukraine. Listen to what he said. It is so, and not only did he include Israel into this particular trope, into this meme, he basically is telling the United States, you better back off as well, pal. You better back off. You'd better back off what's happening, because you're not getting it right. You're aiding and abetting Israel and what we're doing. And I'm telling you, and they're not talking about October the 7th. They're not. They're not talking about. You watch two different screens of the world. Listen to what they're saying and listen to what everybody's saying on Fox News. Do you hear what I'm saying? They keep talking about this, I don't know what the word is. They keep talking about these definitional things. And I'm telling you, what I'm telling you, nobody understands it, because they just want to yammer. They just want to keep talking about other things, I guess. Gazans are viewed by Americans, by the cable news media, as collaborators, as somehow they're, because they voted in Hamas, that, well, you've got no reason to complain. You wanted this. You wanted this hellhole. You wanted this. And they keep focusing on the woke leftist propaganda, these college students who want to rip down the pictures of people who were kidnapped, the ones who want to scream and yell about what? The law school students and how they're, it's the most incredible thing in the world. It's like, what are you talking about? They're still talking about that. Well, this billionaire hedge funder pulled his money out of this school because that's all they talk about. Or you'll have Israelis and Jewish people telling their story. They're not lying. They're telling you about the horror of October the 7th. Meanwhile, listen to the entire rest of the world in unison. And they're talking about, where have you been? Now, when I say this, I understand completely, because I am daring to question the recitation and the ferocity and the volume of the narrative. I'm going to somehow be thrown into the mix as, I don't know what. I'm not sure, because believe me, no one, well, I listened to a radio show, I couldn't take it. And I'm even listening to things like, I tried to listen to a little bit of the Rising. No, is the Rising, or Crystal and Sagar. This Crystal, no, she doesn't get it. They don't get it. They don't get it. This is war is happening right this moment. It's planning it. And Bibi, in his defense, he's saying, I've got the reputation of the world behind me. TJ Maxx, thank you for your kindness. Thank you. Again, genius, the comedian. I don't understand how to sustain this anymore. I don't know how to put this into words. Bibi is telling the rest of the world, I am Bibi Netanyahu. I am in charge. Quit saying whether he's a hawk or right wing. These words don't mean anything. He is in a war right now. And he has his people saying, okay, Bibi, you were rather extreme before. Well, now we want the extreme. Now we dig the extreme. We want to hear your extreme take. Let's have it. Let's have it. Come on, let's go. Do it. What is it? What's your take? Don't hold back. We want you to do it. We want the battle cries and the chants and we need this. We're under attack. Now, when they talk about negotiating, that's my favorite. When they were trying to negotiate, what was it? Gilad, I forget the name of it. There was a, you remember the story. I'm always doing this. This was a Israeli IDF. I forgot his name. It was Gilad Shalit. Remember this one? Gilad Shalit. He was a former MII soldier of the IDF. 2006, he was captured by, I guess, Hamas, by militants. He was held captive for 5 years until his release as part of a prisoner exchange deal. Okay? You understand this? Now, wow, he's 37 years old. When Gilad Shalit when they were doing the negotiating, do you remember what, and I'm going to say it's Hamas. I guess it was Hamas. I don't know at the time. Do you remember what the negotiating terms were? No. There's no way you did. Do you remember what they were? They were something to the effect of like 1,200 of our, your prisoners for one of it was the most ridiculous thing in the world. It was like 1,200 to one or something. I mean, they were saying, what? Oh, they'll negotiate, but they're not in any way. They're not in any way. How do I say this? They're not in any way. Pardon me. They are not in any way. I have been in a settlement negotiation this morning, settlement conference that is wild. Here we go. Pardon me for that. They wanted 1,200 to 1. 1,200 of our captured for one that we've captured. We'll give you one Gilad Shalit for 1,200 Hamas. And I don't even know how many folks Israel has taken. Not hostage, but the POWs or whatever you want to call it. You have an idea? You know what it is? Two-state solution? That is how is this even, why are they even talking about that? Two-state solution. You think that's done. They smell blood. There has never, for those people who are chiding and shaking your fist at Hamas has done more in the past since October than you can imagine. This changed everything. They're talking. And then what happens is, when you ask about Hamas, because I guess they're telling like Steve Doocy's people, just always ask whether the person you have on denounces, decries the the whatever it is. Just make sure that whoever you talk to, always denounces and says something in negative reference to whatever it was. Okay, fine. That's all they care about. And do you decry that? Yes, I do. And do you? Yes, I do. Yes, I do. Okay, fine. That's all they want. Let me tell you what the rest of the world is saying. The rest of the world is saying that is terrible, and they will always make a statement. Yes, we always decry the innocent. However, and they always say this. However, why aren't you saying anything about the innocent Palestinians who were killed, or the innocent whatever Gazans who were killed? Right? They say the same thing all the time, and we're getting nowhere past this. And I'll bet you anything. I will bet you could go to a Fox News that, oh my God, that hideous 5 o'clock. I had this on the other day. I guess it was just, the radio version of it. And it was Greg Gutbucket is out of his league. Stick with the cheap jokes. Stick with the comedy. Baby, this ain't your thing. This is above your pay grade. You are not able to handle this at all. You are a punk. You're just a kid. You're some snot-nosed comic who loves these. You and Judge Janine, the Abbott and Costello of it. I couldn't believe. You can go to any other network around the world. Each person speaks 5 languages, and they're talking about the nuances and the colors and the layers of fact and factual bases. It's unbelievable. I can't conceive of the level of complexity that we're talking about now. I can't conceive of this. It is mind-boggling. Mind-boggling. Do you hear me? And what do you have? What do we have? Greg Gutbucket, Brian Kilmeade, Sean Hannity going through the fine atomized particulate matter of the issues. Dear God. No, I realize one thing. No, you don't understand. Unless this is like Punch and Judy war, like there's a bad guy, there's a good guy. That's it. Oh, you can forget it. Forget it. We're done. I made a bunch of observations here. Hamas is not ISIS. It's more Muslim Brotherhood. Israel has a lot of reservists. You're going to compare yourself to the Turkish army? Everybody's saying you need... Israel may have a lot of, they may be pugilistic to an extent and bellicose to an extent, but when it comes to grasping the notion of when it comes to grasping the notion and the intricacies of I guess what you want to call, war and fighting, it's another story. Gazans are viewed by Americans as being part of some, I don't know, collaborators or something. The pushback, if they go through with what they're talking about now, by leveling Gaza or whatever, the pushback is going to be unimaginable, incalculable. You will not be able to understand what this is. They're going to unleash. They're holding back. Gaza, Hamas went in, did their thing, took off, and now it's kind of okay. And now Israel says, okay, we're going to do you here, up in the north, even around with Hezbollah. You're responding, you're retracting. The rest of the world is like, okay, get ready. How will the people of Israel ever feel safe in kibbutzim? Or as Steve Doocy says, kibbutz. The kibbutz. How will they ever feel safe? How will they ever be able to look unless they live in some kind of a fortified, walled area? How are they ever going to be able to do this? The two-state solution is over. Netanyahu has to restore the image and the force of Israel. You have to look at the military consideration of this, tactics versus strategies. And this is going to be the next George Floyd. Let me tell you something. If you think that people are going to if you think that international folks are already talking to Antifa, already talking to Atbar, saying, you know what, we can do this again. We don't want to see a bunch of people it's a bunch of some, students around Harvard Square screaming and yelling. We want George Floyd stuff. Can you bring us that? Oh, absolutely. Wait till you bring it's going to be difficult sometimes, but wait till you have mergings, maybe try to get BLM to consider themselves a part of, use the apartheid thing. How many of you, dear people, dismiss the notion of the apartheid? When you hear that Israel or the settlements or Gaza, that this is a modern day apartheid, what is it that you think? I'm curious. What goes through your mind? I'll tell you what goes through your mind. You say, oh, it's ridiculous. This isn't apartheid. And that's it. And that's the end of your That's the end of your decision. That's the end of what you're saying. That's it. That's it. That's the end of it. I don't want to hear any more about it. Right? Of course that's right. Of course that's right. My friend, I got to take a breath. I get so worked up. You have no idea. I can't, between the stuff that goes on in normal life and this, it is beyond anything. Please like this video. Please subscribe. Please. Make sure you subscribe. Make sure you like this video. Always hit that little bell so you're notified of live streams and new videos. And let me tell you something right now. When you talk about food, when you talk about supplies, when you talk about people stashing money and ammunition and water and generators, people are realizing these are different times. So pay attention. The smartest thing that you can do right now is to pay attention and listen to what I'm telling you right now. In the event of disaster, in the event of something calamitous, there are three things that are critical to survival: food, water, and energy. And I'm here to talk about the food part. And that's preparewithlionel.com. My Patriot Supply is simply the premier food storage, emergency food storage company in the world. And they have right now a deal for you that I want you to pay attention to and avail yourself of. It's $200 off a 3-month emergency food supply kit. Now, this is what everybody should have initially, but this will get you going. This is an introductory. We're talking a 25-year shelf life, 21 varieties of the most delicious foods and drinks and snacks you can imagine. We're talking 120 pounds of food in resealable pouches with oxygen absorbers, 120 pounds of food in 6 water-resistant buckets that are modular and stacked perfectly. They are simply the smartest things you can do, the wisest thing you can do, because I'm telling you, when there's calamity, when there's shutdown, when there's martial law or tsunamis or weather or strikes or riots or whatever, stores close down. And when stores close down, food is unavailable. And when food is unavailable, people are going to go nuts. You know it, and I know it. Preparewithlionel.com. Don't think, don't review this, don't give this a lot of thought. Just do this. Go to preparewithlionel.com and take advantage of this, I should say, this incredible deal that's not going to last for a long time. Preparewithlionel.com. It's that serious. And so is what we're talking about right now. So serious that nobody is really getting it. I'm saying it again, but let me rephrase this. Nobody in our world. Now, here is a man, thank God, the man who lends some expertise, our Roman friend, our Roman professor, our European tactician, if you will. My God, Eric Thaddeus Walter says, listen to 9/11 events on the live radio from a barber's chair here in Rome. Spent 3 weeks at a time stuck in my tiny loft for 9 months in 2020. Current events have me scared for the first time because the Americans have no clue. Well, they've never had anything. You've never had a clue. Never had anything. Never. Eric, I first of all, I thank you again. Let's talk about this. Let's talk about this. I have a friend of mine right now. I got to tell you this much. I have a friend of mine right now who is involved in a medical event. Okay. And I talked to him recently, and I spent it was something I'm not going to mention because they might be listening. And if I mention a particular event, they'll know. Oh, you're talking about, But it was something that I heard sort of in passing. It took me. It took me 5 minutes. 5 minutes is a long time. It took me 5 minutes to read, not WebMD, but some other little kind of a little updates, Mayo Clinic, as just to what this person is looking at, and kind of, okay, I got an idea. I've got a concept of it. I've got a concept. I got it. I got it. This is what you're doing now. This is what's happening. And it's almost mechanical in nature. Okay. It has nothing to do with lifestyle, nothing to do with smoking, none of that. It really doesn't. It's like a broken leg. This person had no clue, never looked, sat in his bed doing his, never even said, oh, look what I've got. That's the way we are with this. We don't understand, to use the medical analogy, what is the thinking? What is happening? Critical thinking should be number one. Hello, folks. Welcome to the new Fox News, the new CNN, with a new look. Here's what I'm going to tell you. The way they see it. The way they see it. Not the way you see it. Not the way it should be. Not the way, but the way these people see it. Eric would tell you. 9/11 was different because the world felt sorry for us. We didn't know what was going on, and I didn't know what was going on either. And I still don't know what happened. I still don't know. I can't tell you. I can't. None of this other stuff makes, the official story, no. But I don't know what happens. But whatever they told me, I don't believe it. But the rest of the world liked us. We were the world's friends. Vladimir Putin called us up and said, listen, I know where these folks are. They're in the Caucasus, and I know who they are. And I know about Muslims. I know what's going on. And I know, not Muslims per se, but radicalized jihadists, whatever you call it. And I'm here to help you. I am 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 here to be a part of this. I am here to help you. Please let us know. Let us know what we can do. Let us know, and we will be a part of this. Please let us know. In Tehran, they had the candlelight vigil. We were viewed as the victims. Don't you understand? We were the victims. For the love of God, pay attention. We were the victims. We were the victims. I can't say this. It didn't matter what was true. It's how the world saw us. It's what the world believed to be true, not what was true. On 9/11, nobody knew about Norman Mineta's stand-down order in Cheney. Nobody knew about that. Nobody knew about Shanksville. Nobody knew about Building 7. Nobody knew about anything. They just knew it was coming apart, and we were victims, and by God, we're going to help the USA. Maybe they thought because it would gain favor. I don't know, but that's what people were thinking. That's what people were thinking. The world. Oh, there were some few people, the chickens have come home to roost. You heard that line, that Malcolm X. Yeah. If you believe the story about, well, and then they started in Condoleezza Rice. They hate our freedom fries. Remember that? They wouldn't let us fly over. Freedom fries. We don't want and then it devolved into that Fox News. Yeah, come, Steve Doocy. That kind of mentality. Listen to what's happening. Go back and ask. Let me ask Eric. How do Romans look at the Communist Party now? How does Europe look at the Communists and Labor post-World War II, post-Gladio, post, when you use the word communist or labor, what does that mean to them? What does it mean? It's a different world. Nobody has ever understood yet what it meant when Vladimir Putin said, you are not going to have a NATO base on our border. Do you understand what that means? We would never tolerate it. We would never tolerate it. But yet they came up with these tropes like these Fox News morons, and everybody else on the matter too. By the way, they were in lockstep. CNN, everybody. This is unanimous. This is unanimous. Whenever, because it's the myth of the left-right paradigm. It's two sides of the same coin. They never understood that from, oh, it's not Budapest. I forget where it was. It was the agreement. It was that meeting where Putin said, you're not going to do this to Georgia, and you're not going to do, I keep saying Budapest. Anyway, 2008, 2014, please, the dates. He said it. Victoria Nuland and the NATO folks says, that's our tripwire. That's it. That's it. Because when Putin says something, he does it. Right or wrong, he does it. So they told him, okay. And they start off with Georgia, and he clobbered him. He says, I told you, now stop that. Does anybody think for a moment, does anybody think that Russia has unleashed anything? Oh, they've done some. Have they made mistakes? Of course they've made mistakes. Have they depleted their resources? They're on the border. Do you think that if Russia wanted to completely crush Ukraine, it would have? Of course it would, but they didn't. So anyway, that never went away. That theme never left. You start with a theme, and you never ask, well, what do Russians think about this? What do they think? What do Crimeans think? What do Ukrainians think? Who are they? They never ask a question, and they never do this. They never look at the map. They never look. They say, where is all this stuff? It's contiguous. The propinquity of it. I don't get it. All right. This is what people don't understand right now. They should have told me, and I'll bet you Bibi knew all of this. There's one thing I'm sure he knew. I'm sure he knew exactly. This is what they would have told him. Right, wrong, and indifference. The world hates you. Oh, I shouldn't say that. There are a lot of countries who do, because you are still democratic force in the Middle East. You're a good. Yeah, I understand that. That's not what they think. You have looked like to these people the bully, the apartheid, the pickpota, the whatever you want to call it. Gaza is a Nelson Mandela, and whatever the Canary Island or whatever the Robin's Nest, whatever that prison we was in. But that's the way it is. And they're waiting. And then when this happened on October the 7th, that was it. Do you understand what I'm saying? It opened up everything. It's that wound. It became infected and purulent. And people say, I told you not to pull that wing. I told you not to do that. Well, you did. Well, I told you not to do that. I told you. It did. It did. It did this. It let the world know. It's incredible. By the way, I need more likes. Thank you for the likes. You've been terrific with this, my friends. I need 300 likes. I need those likes. I hate to keep acting like this, but I will. So what is the United States supposed to say? What? That's a difficult one. What we should say, what we should say to make sure we tell the rest of the world, hey, back off, don't look at us. Because let me tell you something, if you think the Middle East and Israel are not able to handle the onslaught of this, we're not able to do it at all. Believe me, we couldn't handle any serious military, any serious privation of whatever you want to call it. But in any event, I am telling you to listen to what I'm saying. There has to be the current world in the Middle East, in Israel, regarding the Palestinians, cannot continue as is. If you think it's bad now, it just got worse. There is a wind in their sails. There is a a burr under their saddle, a stone in their shoe, whatever the word is, it has just, it hit 11, okay? And whenever you say that, the Fox News crowd will say, well, there's no reason for that. I'm not asking you, doofus, whether you think is a good idea. I'm not asking you whether it makes sense. I agree with you. It's fine. It doesn't matter what I think or you think. This is what's happening. You better get in here real quick and start pretending that something is at least something looks like maybe there might be some chance of some adjustment, two-state solution, a truth, whatever it is. But you better start talking now, because these people smell blood and they're loving it. And they realize we don't need a lot of people. And I'll bet you, and this I don't know, I'll bet you those Hamas folks, if they were killed, they are martyrs. And this 72 virgin stuff, I don't know where that came from. But in their own, the way we have the Vietnam Wall. What do you think the Vietnam Wall looks like to somebody whose father, a Vietnamese person, died in Vietnam? What do you think? What do you think it looks like? What do you think this wall looks like to us? Like, they're honoring those people. They must think these bloodthirsty bastards come to our country, blow it up, rape women, kill people, throw them in ditches, go through and they put up a wall honoring them. From their point of view, that's exactly. But luckily, thankfully, I think they've kind of gotten over that. There's no getting over this. Who said there's no getting over you? Alabama? Anyway. Please nod. Please tell me I'm not wasting my time with you. Please tell me that and you don't have to tell anybody that we said this, but it cannot continue like this. It cannot. And here's the thing. Most probably, it will affect you, but not as much as you would think. See, Obama had this weird thing. Obama couldn't stand Bibi. Couldn't stand him. And I think it was because Bibi had expected, and I'm just second guessing, maybe a little bit more of a kind of a dutiful, not supplication, but a dutiful something. I don't know what the word is, but maybe a dutiful, again, it's not submission, but respect. And Obama's and you can say, well, it's because he's a Muslim, and that's too easy. It's too easy. Too Occam's razor-ish, to use a term. But what we're looking at right now is something a little bit different. And it's a little bit different. And this is the thing which is the most important. This is the most critical. This is the most monumentally critical out of everything. It's got to change now. What is happening right now? Step number 1, Bibi has to console and deal with his country first. Everybody knows this. They're probably on the phone saying, Bibi's got to do his thing. Tony Dash says, Lionel, you look great. Keep fighting. Thank you, Tony. I don't know if anybody wants this, but thank you for that. Number 1, Bibi, you got to give him some headroom. All right. You talk to your people. Make sure you look tough. Make sure you say the right thing. Make sure you are a wartime consigliere. Make sure you let these people act, do your thing. Do you ever notice how he wears this when he goes out and he talks to the troop? He wears this little, it's like a home plate, maybe even smaller, this camouflage, or not camouflage, but there's something here. It's like this weird, he doesn't wear a helmet, doesn't wear anything on his arms, his legs, just this little thing here. Anyway. He's got to do his thing. We're going to crush, we're going to do, and he's got his war. And by the way, he is pulling the they call it right wing, the biggest, baddest group of folks you've ever met, working together in solidarity, so to speak. Okay, you got that? That's number one. Number two, somebody somewhere has got to say, okay, where is the Palestinian voice? Is it Abu Mazen with the West Bank, or is it these Gaza, these Hamas people? And Hamas, let me also tell you something. You don't tell the world what Hamas is. They tell you what Hamas is. If Hamas is their party or their whatever it is, there are people. You are not going to understand this. They are not going to understand this. They are not going to, or you're not. They are saying that if it wasn't for Hamas, they wouldn't be there where we are. If it wasn't for 2 atom bombs, the Japanese wouldn't have surrendered. So when you see those pictures of those kids with their skins melted before your very eyes, when you see those kids with skins melted and just dripping and the, they're frozen, those people who vaporize, they're looking at, these sick bastards did this to us twice. What did we have to do with anything? We didn't do anything. We didn't even know where Pearl Harbor is. What? Yeah, but I didn't. But in America, we danced in the streets, sailors, the Eisenstadt. Do you see how that looks? They're looking at us like these people are celebrating. Look what they did to us. No, but they're heroes. Wait a minute. If the American public doesn't understand this, we're wasting our time. You're wasting your time. If you don't understand what it looks like to them and what they feel and what they think. So the second move is Bibi's got to collect. He's got to do something first. You can't get too crazy. He's got to do something, but you're not gonna go in and level Gaza. You can't. And I know what you're saying. You have to go into Gaza because that's where Hamas builds its rockets. That's where they do that. I understand it. But all they say is you turned off water. Did you see the pictures of a hospital where there's no power for ventilators? Doctors holding up iPhone lights. Can you imagine that at, St. Joseph's Hospital or Cornell Weill, where there's no power? Because, so do you know the optics of this? You better, because they're not going to forget this. This is what's happening right now. And you are creating a new generation of hate, and they're not going away. And they've got the internet, and they've got social media and TikTok. And I don't give a damn whether you like it or not. IDF is trying to compete with this one, TikTok. Oh, and they're already doing it. They're showing one where they show some young man, I guess, who was dying ostensibly in a Palestinian hospital. They say, oh, here he is the next day. And it's this, they claim it's the same person. They're doing that again. We have that crew. We have the crew who believes in, doubles, crisis doubles and all this nonsense. They come out of nowhere. Remember these people? Look, here's Sandy Hook. Look, see this woman here? This woman running with the kids? Here she is here. It's the same woman. Who are you? I don't know, but I saw it here. You're just repeating it, I know. How about Putin? Every day he's got some new disease. This guy's got more diseases than anybody's. Berry, Tick de la Rue. He's got everything. There's body doubles, body triples. It's mythical, magical, and these people run with it. Now, I do not believe that you should shut people down. But if you don't have if your bullshit detector isn't working, that's where we are right now. That's where we are. We're just kind of like, not really getting it. There's not going to be a two-state solution anybody likes. They're going to call it a two-state solution. They're going to say, ta-da, we have a two-state solution. Wait a minute. This looks just like, shut up. This is as good as it's getting. In the meantime, watch Erdogan. He's balancing the line between trying to keep up with his NATO buddies and trying to show the world that he's the leader and to show the Muslim community that I'm with you, referring to Hamas as mujahideen, as fighters for, like a military, like good and noble, and we're making them out to be thugs. And I'm not saying they're right or wrong or whatever. I'm not saying that. And I'm only going to say this in one respect, okay? And I'm going to say, whenever anybody portrays anything that is called an atrocity, either side, regarding hospitals, children, old people, I am not going to believe anything. I'm going to say, this is the story you're saying. This is the story this is what you're alleging. That's it. I'll leave it at that. Listen to us. I do not come at this anti-Israel, pro-Israel, anti-Hamas, pro-Hamas, pro-Palestinian, I'm looking at this battle. I'm looking at this fight. I'm looking at the theaters of battle. And I want you to be very wise and understand what is happening. I want you to understand specifically what is happening. Dear God. That's all I ask. Suspend. Do not feel that bringing up a quip about Lawrence of Arabia or the Ottoman Empire or something, well, it's Hegelian dialectic. You don't have to respond, not you, but others. And I see this. You don't have to respond with, I know something about this. That's not it. Nobody's asking you to quip or to kibitz. Nobody's asking that. We need brutal, honest reaction and an appraisal of what's happening. Okay? And remember something. We are not military. We are not military. I'm not. I speak in the grossest of terms regarding military. I don't know about particular types of ammunition to be used or military. I am not that way. I am not a military person. Most people aren't. But most people on the internet are experts in law, intelligence. Remember, there was a time when everybody was in the NSA or was in the NSA. It's like Don Shipley and Navy SEALs. These Navy SEAls. They have these groups of people. I was a Navy SEAL. And Don Shipley said, wow, who are these people pretending to be? This is the most incredible thing in the world. How is it? How is it that we have these people pretending to be expert at everything? In any event, I don't know. My friends, I thank you. I thank you. I thank you, Tony Dash. I thank you, the great Eric Thaddeus Walters. Thank you, Sosa, very much. And TJ Maxx. I thank you. By the way, we are big TJ Maxx fans. Absolutely. Absolutely. Thank you. We'll be back tonight, 7 o'clock, the usual time, 7 p.m., 7 p.m., 7 p.m., 7 p.m., 7 p.m., 7 p.m., 7 p.m. That is it, 7 p.m. That is it, 7 p.m. We will be talking then. Make sure in the next couple of days, my schedule is going to be really weird. So I may be able to do a live stream sometimes just at the sperm of the moment, as Archie Bunker would say. So make sure you like this video. Make sure you are standing by and make sure you are ready to go specifically with this. Just make sure you know what's going on. Always keep track. Always subscribe and make sure you're subscribed. Sometimes people are telling me you're unsubscribed. I offer you no hope. I offer you the truth. I want you to understand what's happening. All right, your friends, see you tonight, 7 p.m. Don't ever change the mean that sincerely. And until then, remember, the monkey's dead. The show's over. Sue ya. Ta-ta.